morning. We are here to do a critical review on business leadership in fourth industrial revolution. And we took a video from the World Economic Forum, which has happened in January 2019 in Davos, Switzerland. And these are our two members, myself Abhishek Suresh Kumar and my colleagues Afnan Mansoor, Jidesh Babu, Srihari and Thomas Uti Siriak. And I would like to assert the famous quote of Alvin Toffler. It was, "The illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but who cannot learn, unlearn and relearn." You will get the relevance of this quote from the upcoming sections in the slides, and I definitely believe you can understand the value of his quote from the critical review. So the World Economic Forum. We took a video that's more about business leadership. So we have four businessmen from the four major companies in the world, businessmen and CEOs. So this is all about the leadership in a growing social climate that ranges from data privacy to environmental degradation to market concentration and endemic corruption in the fourth industrial revolution. So the leadership in the fourth industrial revolution. So what is the fourth industrial revolution? It is the current and developing environment in which disruptive technologies and trends such as IoT, that is Internet of Things, VR, AI, that's artificial intelligence, are changing the way we live and work. So in the discussion, it was all about how to find out how leaders are planning to take effective actions to best serve the interests of their stakeholders, that's their customers, by balancing the drastic change in technological and political landscape. So these are our panelists. Bill McDermott, he is the CEO of ServiceNow and he was the former CEO of SAP. And Ginny Romet, she's an American business executive and the chairperson and CEO of IBM. And Hiroki Nakanishi, he's a businessman as well as he's the CEO and chairman of Hitachi. And David Taylor, he's the CEO of Procter & Gamble. And the major issues and discussions by the panelists should be presented by my colleague in the upcoming slides.
Myself, I'm Thomas Uti Siriak, and today I'm going to be talking about the issues and discussions raised by the panel. So this video starts with the question of Ms. Rola Kalaf. How can business leaders best serve the interest of all their stakeholders while navigating rapidly changing technology and practical landscapes? So this is a continuous conversation among all the four CEOs. The main agenda or the focus is the impact of fourth industrial revolution globally. The discussion goes on concentrating more on people's trust in current technology trends and their anxiety about the future employment. Mr. Bill McDermott said that there is an ambivalence about the impact of technology on the average person, and their business leaders know that the drastic change in technology is the driving force of innovation and growth. But the problem is everyone is not aware of it. Mr. McDermott also added that more than 2/3 of the people in today's society are really worried about the high chances of losing their job, especially the blue-collar jobs to be replaced by a robot. Now, IBM CEO Ms. Ginny Rometty added to the above conversation that people's perception about the change in technology is the key factor of these issues and mistrust. She says large part of society does not believe that technology will be good for their future, and therefore they feel very disenfranchised. Also, she said this is a serious issue to be taken care of as technology is moving faster than people's skill, which in turn causes the skill crisis, where the only solution is broad participation of society. And she also pointed out that this disenfranchisement has played a key role in the political upheaval which made an impact on Brexit. For the above issues, she suggested few solutions like merging in private and public sectors in order to bridge the skill gap and to improve the education, social systems and infrastructure in order to prepare for the fourth industrial revolution. When it comes to education and skills, government can't solve alone regardless. The company has to emphasize more on skills rather than any form of degrees. As an example, she mentioned about the electricity which had come on a grid system. At the same time, high school and secondary education system became standard across Europe and US. In a nutshell, she is trying to convince that people's job is displaced but everyone could still benefit. The core idea is that a simultaneous focus should be there on both social and technological side. Mr. Hiroki Nakanishi has recently pulled out of major investment in UK's nuclear energy sector amid Brexit uncertainties. Said he has no expectation and requested for a no-deal Brexit if possible. The topic moved on to brands, and Mr. McDermott showed his anxiety on creating the trust that is necessary and advised to stop spending too much time focusing on quarterly earnings and put that into stakeholders' review. Mr. David Taylor, CEO of Procter & Gamble, said that the consumer or the customer want to know what the CEO thinks and how their brand come forward. He also insisted that the brand should have a point of view which is much more relevant in today's world than the past, as the performance alone would drive a business. Now, Afnan will be taking more about the critical aspect of this panel discussion.
Myself, Afnan Manzoor, going to do the critical analysis of business leadership in fourth industrial revolution. In the talk about skill gap, McDermott says that 800 million jobs could be displaced, and Guinea conquered it by saying that apprenticeship is possible and job-oriented training can be given to the people, but we should analyze the limitations of giving this apprenticeship to the blue-collar workers. There are a lot of parameters that should be considered while training a person from one field and shifting him to another field. This scenario will be worse in middle-aged or unskilled, semi-skilled workers. Also, Bill suggested the role of neurodiverse people involvement in the special skills section, but practicality and implementation is a complex process. And no further details and discussions was not given on that. Next, my point mainly focuses on preparations for job that doesn't exist. As told before, the rapid change in technology, which includes the phase and platform, where the above mentioned apprenticeship won't be effective. Once a person gets trained and the technology changes overnight, the old version become ineffective and people has to be introduced to the new dimensions of technologies, which result to no matching workers for the perfect job. And also, no discussions were held on this change issue. As Alvin Toffler said, the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. The rest of the slides will be taken by my colleague Srihari.
Here I am going to continue what the Afnan has taught. Well, Guinea has described the new version of jobs as new collar instead of white collar and blue collar, but there was no further clarification on how this is classified and what are the new types of opportunities in employment. Is it the compilation of white collar and blue collar jobs or the elimination of blue collar jobs? No further discussion was done on that. The next point is AI or artificial intelligence versus personal data privacy. As the technology improves, it's showing an inverse proportion on the data privacy. Even the data privacy issue was discussed, None of the panelists gave a proper response on the same. In this era of high data leakage, for example, Facebook Cambridge Analytica had harvested millions of personal data and used for political advertisement purposes. The situation may even worse when AI gets its full responsibility. Guinea states that they will be accountable for data privacy issues if they knowingly had it, which in turn points to people's own responsibility to secure their own data. So, nothing was clarified in this statement. No clarity in the future of capitalism. The priority of shareholders in stakeholders will be in question in future or by the middle of fourth industrial revolution, which may create social unrest that will question the relevance of capitalism. Inequality will be widened, real wages get stagnated, population will become less willing to accept capitalism. If the bridge gap, as Jenny told, is fixed in combination of private and public sector, capital markets and capitalists set the rules that democratic governments must follow. This will become a real issue in future. So, as we discuss these points, we had get into some conclusions on this video that and further more explanation should have been in the meeting for the clarification of their strategies. The business leaders should focus more on the unemployment that can happen due to the rapid change in the technology. And the apprenticeship should not be job oriented but technology oriented. More security solutions for data privacy issues should have been discussed. Here's a link of the video that we have critically analyzed. That's all. Thank you so much.